So it is exactly 9:30. You are following second day of European Science Festival, and I would like to announce the first presentation of the second day of European Science Festival. Dr. Mojca Juriševič is professor at Faculty of Education at University of Ljubljana, and she will tell us more about an interesting project. The name of the project is Center for Research and Promotion of Giftedness. The name itself tells a lot about its content, but not enough about its practical implications. For that, Dr. Mojca Juriševič will be the right address. And I would like to invite everyone with questions. Please write them into the comment section, and I will later ask them to our guests. But now, Professor Mojca Juriševič, welcome. Please share our thoughts and presentations with us.
Good morning. I hope that the connection is clear and okay.
It's great. It's great. It works.
Okay,
fine.
Thank you. So thank you for this kind presentation. My name is really Mojca Juriševič. I come from a Faculty of Education, University of Ljubljana, and I am psychologist. So my topic of today, or my presentation, will focus more on another viewpoint of science, psychological science. Because I am employed at Faculty of Education, my job, let's say, besides research and service, is also to teach teachers and to persuade them how psychological science is important for being a quality teacher. And the story I would like to tell you today is about this job we are doing at Faculty of Education, and especially at the Center for Research and Promotion of Giftedness. But before I start, I would like really to thank again to organizers of this event, the Slovenian Foundation, Science Foundation, with whom we are collaborating for many years now. And I would like to say that I am happy and honored to be part of today's event and also of this community. So just to frame my presentation, I would like to recall the yesterday introduction of the logo of European Science Festival. As you remember, we were talking about the wheel, right? And here is a little joke about the invention or the process of constructing the wheel. So my topic is about educating gifted people or talented people or people with high abilities or outstanding learning potential to become adults and to become inventors, creators, producers, right? So let's start from the start. And as it is a habit, let's say in teacher education, let's start with a concrete example. Here you see different children, and I would like to ask you to imagine for a while that you are a teacher and these are students from your class. And now some questions follow. So first one is, how would you approach them? How would you teach them? I don't know, chemistry, biology, math, something interdisciplinary? How would you motivate them? And first of all, it would be helpful to know what they became in their lives. So I will talk about children, right? And what is changing if you know what is their future. So we are scientists, we are developing science, but still we don't know what the future will bring us. We have to predict, right? And gifted education is most of all about predicting, right? It is about trusting the future, our scientific findings to create, to build, to develop future. Why or how science can support our strivings? Here we can use the science map or science network from Boyack and his colleagues from 2005, in which they elaborated hub sciences, let's say hub sciences in the network of science. And now seeing this picture, this broader picture about science, we can ask ourselves how science can support gifted children or children with high potential, with high learning or intellectual potential. So the answer, we believe, is the right pathway is in this proverb from Africa, which says that it takes a village to raise a child. So it takes the whole science network to use it to raise gifted children, not just gifted children, but today we are talking about high potentials. And that way, science can assist or serve society or people, right, in performing research, provision and support for gifted children in schools and outside, in creating or orientating people to form their attitudes about diversity and especially about gifted education. We can impact also teacher education about how to teach gifted students. And first of all, science can contribute also to the conceptualization of giftedness, of high potentials, of creativity, and so forth. So let's go on with this in mind. Why we should be interested in gifted education? So it is not like that if you are born as gifted, that is, and you are gifted all your life. So science doesn't agree anymore with this notion. And because of that, science science is advocating for gifted education and for gifted students, for gifted children and adolescents in three different ways. So first reason why we should care is personal development of gifted individuals. So we care for their mental health and for their well-being as gifted children who grow up then in gifted adults, let's say. The second reason is that we care for their learning and their career development. And the third one, it's also economical. So here is a strong belief that we have to care for gifted education and for gifted students also because of economic reasons and our future of our society. We are using different terms to conceptualize it, like social capital or natural resources or human capital and so forth. But I would here I'd like to mention also a quote of Baker from 2002, who stated that the economic success of individuals and also of whole economies depends on how extensively and effectively people invest in themselves. And of course, how we can also elaborate it further, how also society has a responsibility also to care for children, for gifted children in our case. So the first question, which is related to conceptualization of giftedness, and here science has something to say today, is who is considered as a gifted child, or is everyone born gifted? These are really basic questions. We are starting to think about gifted education. And we can use here Gauss curve to imagine, or to, you know, to abstract the concept of giftedness. So when we are talking about gifted individuals, we are talking about this right part of the curve, right? And science is telling us that not everyone is gifted, right? As not everyone has deficits, if we move to the right part of the curve, but we can say that yes, and science confirm it, everyone has strengths. So when we are talking about giftedness and gifted people, then we are talking about individuals who demonstrate outstanding potentials or achievements relating to majority of their peers, right? And even further, so when discussing about who is a gifted child, we encounter a lot of problems, because identifying giftedness in childhood is quite a difficult problem relating to adulthood, because when we are adults, we have products, we have already results of our work, and we can compare them, right? Some of them are extraordinary and others are more average, right? But how we could, or how we can say that a child is gifted or not? So here we have a problem, and we can think about the child in ourselves, or we can think differently about children who are gifted. But science is telling us, or scientific findings reveal that being a child, gifted child, is really it's really different from being a gifted adult. So what we are doing still today, it's associating giftedness in childhood with adulthood. And this is, science is saying, not the right way. So children are not adults. So measuring or identifying potentials, it's not identifying or measuring achievements or performances. And this is why the identification of early giftedness is such a challenge for science. So from the other perspective, here is the book from John Freeman, who is one of the most famous or sound scholars in the field of gifted education and giftedness. And she performed a longitudinal study 35 years she followed gifted students or gifted individuals from their childhood to adulthood, and then she wrote also the book. But most importantly for this presentation today is what she found in this journey, research journey. So she firstly, she found out that gifted students or gifted children, gifted individuals are normal people, but with special challenges. So we are not different in our personalities, we are different in our potentials. So the second one is connected with what was said just before. A gifted child is different from a different adult. And we have to respect the developmental paths and developmental characteristics of individuals in different developmental periods. The third one is that great potential needs presents opportunities to grow, and that hard work brings positive results. Without hard work, we cannot reach achievements, or we cannot perform in an outstanding way. The last one, and this is, I think, also the most important one, is that personality can make all the differences. So we can have a bunch of gifted individuals at age 5 or 10, and then we can have really different development of these talents. And if we follow these people through their life, we can see that they will reach different qualities as well as different performances in their lives. So it's really important to understand that education of gifted students is so important. And even more, today, the science revealed also different developmental models of talents or giftedness. And here is one of the most known, mega model of talent development, developed by our American colleagues, Subotnik, Olszewski, Kubilius, and Varel 10 years ago. And this model is explaining to us how important is to pay attention in each developmental period to different characteristics of developing personalities of gifted children. So just in summary, in the first part of life, in the childhood, is really important to pay attention to whole personality, to healthy development, and to motivation of gifted children. So here they use one very poetic name. So teaching for falling in love with learning and with science or with arts. And then the second period from adolescence to adulthood is paying attention to processes, to developing strategies, work strategies, learning strategies, as well as psychosocial skills, which can support then the work and the performances. And just at the third part of this development, we can talk about products and about eminence, which is the main focus of this science festival. So myself and my colleagues and all teacher education, more or less, is concentrated on this first part. So we are talking about how to raise gifted children, how to educate them, how to motivate them to love learning, to love science. And here we have a really very, very interesting, useful, and beautiful thought from our colleague, psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who paid his professional attention to motivation, giftedness, and I don't know if you are familiar with the term flow. And I would like to read his quote, which is really very important to understand the focus of my presentation. So he said that if you are interested in something, you will focus on it. And if you focus attention on anything, it is likely that you will become interested in it. And many of the things we find interesting are not so by nature, but because we took the trouble of paying attention to them. And this is what we are doing in gifted education from preschool to school age. So the last part of this presentation is about our Center for Research and Promotion of Giftedness. We established actually this center 10 years ago at our faculty, partly because it is an integral part of the vision of our faculty, so paying attention to quality of education, paying attention to development, to cultivation of learning potentials, and partly because of need of the practice. So many schools and many teachers were asking us about the support in teaching gifted students. So we established this center, and we are trying to use all these scientific notions in our everyday work in the framework of this center. So what we are doing exactly, we are doing many things, and among them, we are doing research, because we believe that doing research in the context could help really tremendously to develop contextually respondent practices. Then we are supporting our different teaching programs at our faculty with new knowledge we are gaining from research. We are developing different programs and practices to support gifted students in schools and outside. Of course, we are also advocating for gifted students. We are trying to develop and to promote this movement on gifted education in Slovenia and abroad. Therefore, we are also participating in really different kind of activities related to school life, learning, and promoting values of knowledge, diversity, as well as collaboration, science, and positive thinking about the future. And last but not least, we are doing a lot of networking at our faculty in Slovenia, and we are also networking with other countries, with other institutions, and with scholars all around the world, because we strongly believe that if we are doing something alone, we can be good, but when we are collaborating, we can be excellent. So collaboration and mutual learning are our main values. Here is also the picture of our activities, different kind of activities we are promoting, we are performing, following our goals. And here I would like to somehow end this story by presenting you our main research topics we are following to support all other activities. So we are basically focused on attitudes toward giftedness and gifted education, not just among teachers, but also in society. Then we are interested in personality of gifted students, because, you know, it's still the dilemma of being gifted as a gift or as a curse presented also in Slovenia. We are paying attention also to motivation to learn, and of course on procedures of identification of giftedness. As I mentioned before, that it's really a challenge to identify gifted children. And further on, we are doing research also on gifted education in preschool and in different school settings. We are now just starting with a project on gifted education, let's say at university. So we will explore what is happening with gifted students at our university. Then, of course, as we are an education institution, we are researching also teacher or mentor education, and we are doing a lot of evaluation studies. And finally, in last 2 years, we have done also some research on gifted students' response to COVID-19 pandemic. To conclude, what is in front of us? So we have a vision, yes, we have many ideas, but we will persist in promoting, understanding, and respecting giftedness and its nature. We will insist in education, in promoting the quality of education in social as well as professional contexts, which means more concretely to develop or to support the different programs for teachers, for their for developing their professional competencies. And then we will pay attention also in the future on the support and provision for the cultivation of talent, which means more specifically to support teachers in their methodology of teaching gifted students, and also including mentors who are not basically teachers, so scientists, artists. The next goal is to maintain or to develop even quality assurance, including evaluation of provisions for gifted students. And we will continue with the empirical research for research-based or evidence-based reasons, because we strongly believe that research can help us, and we can use research results to improve at the end practice. And as I already addressed before, the collaboration is one of our main strategies to get all these goals. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you happy European Talent Day. If I am not wrong, today it is 20th anniversary of it. So thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Professor Mojca Juriševič from Faculty of Education at University of Ljubljana. Thank you so much for this presentation, and good luck with your future work.